reroute the knight. If you have a shit knight in the corner, find a potentially good square for the knight and find the closest path toward it. To do that, go in reverse from the place you want the knight to go and the actual knight. And once you find that, just simply plant your knight there. For example, in this position, you have a nice outpost square, but your knight is in the corner. So here, trace from the dream square to your knight, and then you follow the path. Develop blocked bishop. If your bishop is stuck behind pawns from a bad opening, or literally anything, you have to develop it. For example, you can try using pawn trades to open up the position to allow the bishop more mobility. Or you could go in a non-blocked diagonal and activate it there. And best of all is trading your shit bishop for your opponent's good bishop. Don't overextend pawns. You have heard that space in chess is important, and it is, but if you keep pushing pawns without a plan, you will severely weaken the pawn. If it's too far, you will lose it as your opponent can easily add attackers to the pawn, and you can't really defend it. So try not pushing the pawns too far away or have some solid defense on the way before doing that. Keep the bishop pair. In most cases, you shouldn't really capture the knight for bishop, unless you get something out of it like a bad pawn structure or a weak king. It's because if you have two bishops on the board, you control a lot of the board, and is superior to the two knights. In this position, even though material is equal, white is dominating because of the bishop pair, and the two knights aren't really doing much. So in most cases, keep the bishop pair except for rare cases. Open the center when opponent hasn't castled. If your opponent is 2 moves away from castling and went on some rogue attack, then open the center with pawn trades. Once there are some open files, you can begin giving checks and pinning pieces, leading to more tactical opportunities. In this example, you can simply win a queen through this simple discovered check. And here you can attack 2 pieces at once. Prophylaxis. Prophylaxis is when you stop a plan before it happens. For example, your opponent wants to play the knight here to attack this pawn, but you play this move to prevent that from happening. In this example, white is going to play queen here, creating a dangerous battery, so before that you play this knight move, so when the queen plays the move, you can slide the knight to defend it. Play in the direction of your pawn structure. Your pawn structure determines where you expand and where most of your pieces will go. For example, in this position, the pawn structure is going toward the queen side, which means you have more space on the queen side, which means you should probably start attacking there. Attack on semi-open files. Open files are files where there are no pawns, but semi-open files is when there is your opponent's pawn blocking the way. Semi-open files are often better as there is a clear target your rook is looking at. In this example, white can simply keep stacking pressure on the pawn by doubling the rooks and queens and attacking with minor pieces. Target weak pawns. Weak pawns are doubled, isolated, and backward. When possible, try attacking them with pieces as the pawns cannot be defended by another pawn. So in this example, which pawn do you target? Yes, the corner pawn. You continually put pressure on that pawn until you can win the pawn. Gfile attack. If your knight is pinned to your queen, sometimes you can just move the queen. You might think your pawn structure and king safety is ruined, but it's actually not the case. You can simply slide your king 1 square and then put the rook on the Gfile or even 2 rooks. Now we can see the real person attacking here. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and like because it helps out a ton. And thanks for watching.